Welcome to my August TBR. I didn't film one of these last month because I am actually on deadline with my publisher at the moment, and I wasn't sure yet what my writing schedule was going to look like because my job situation has changed recently. I didn't feel like I had a good grasp of what I wanted to read, how much time I was going to be able to give to reading. And in the end, I didn't do as much reading as usual during the month of July, and that's why I've not posted a wrap-up. I'm going to wrap up July and August together at the end of August. So if you're not already, be sure to hit subscribe so that you see that when it comes. But in the meantime, I do have an August TBR because I have now found my flow with my new schedule. And I also have found myself with a little bit of an issue that I'm hoping my TBR will help me fix, but it's probably unrealistic. If you're seeing like new ink. It was actually my birthday yesterday and I had a birthday party with my friends, and one of my friends made like little party bags and they had like temporary tattoos and candy and stuff like that, and it was super cute, and we went bowling. It was so fun. Okay, let's start the TBR because I've got a lot of books that I want to show you. First of all, let's talk about what I'm currently reading. I'm currently reading from the library Station 11 by Emily St. John Mandel. It's taking me a while to get through this. I'm not enjoying it as much as I did Sea of Tranquility, but also I just haven't been picking up physical books very much the last week or two, so that's really why I haven't gotten further through it than I have, but I am definitely going to continue. I'm enjoying it enough to finish it. So I also don't have it right here with me, but I am still reading One Night in Hartswood, which if you're like, Sam, weren't you reading that when you did your June TBR? Mind your own business. I don't know. We'll see. I'm not ready to call it a DNF yet, so let's keep going. And then finally, again, don't have it right here with me, but I'm also reading When Among Crows by Veronica Roth. And that one's a little bit slow going, but it's really rich and beautiful, so I will definitely push through that one, even if it takes me a while. It's a short book, so it shouldn't take me too long, but it is taking a bit of time. The problem that I alluded to is that Station 11 is far from the only library book that I have out. In fact, I have 10 more library books out at the moment. And whilst 11 is my lucky number, I'm not feeling super lucky with my chances of reading all of these before they're due back. So let's go through these one by one. We have Biography of X by Catherine Lacey. We have The Space Between Worlds by Micaiah Johnson. How High We Go in the Dark by Sequioa Nagamatsu. The Invocations by Krystal Sutherland, who's the author of House of Hollow, which I really loved. A Feather So Black by Lyra Selene. None of This Is Serious by Catherine Prasifka. We Spread by Ian Reid. Love the cover of this for some reason. It's just doing it for me. Realmbreaker by Victoria Aveyard. I've never read any Victoria Aveyard, and I thought this seemed like an interesting place to start. Monstrous Regiment by Terry Pratchett. Again, I've never read any Terry Pratchett, and this is meant to be a good place to start. And The Argonauts by Maggie Nelson. Now, of these 11 books, including Station 11, that's funny, some of them have holds on them, so I need to read them sooner rather than later. Some of them I will probably be able to renew a couple more times, but my goal is to have read or DNF'd all of these books and taken them all back to the library by the end of August. Like, I have to do that. I just have to. I said at the beginning of the year that I didn't want to have more than 3 or 4 library books out at a time because it stresses me out. Like, my demand avoidance just cannot handle that. I'm going to be doing a separate reading vlog about getting through all of these books that I'm starting today. I'm going to start filming it immediately after this. So again, if you're not subscribed yet, hit the button because I'll give a little bit more insight than usual into how I get on with each of those books in an attempt to kind of clear my TBR. What that list from the library is severely lacking is romance, and I am definitely feeling the lack of romance. I'm trying to write a romance at the moment, and so not having any romance in my reading is really hindering me. And like, yeah, I can listen to audiobooks, but I've got some good romances on my shelves that I want to read, so let's go through a couple of those. 2 that have been on my TBR since I got them earlier this year are Here We Go Again by Alison Cochrun and The Paradise Problem by Christina Lauren. Still haven't gotten around to either of these. Both are really can't miss authors for me, so I've just dropped both of them on the floor. But the fact that I haven't read them yet is a travesty. The Christina Lauren one in particular, I'm especially excited to pick up. The other one that I've picked up is Dungeons and Drama by Kirsty Boyce. Now, this is a YA romance about Dungeons and Dragons, and I have just written a rom-com about Dungeons and Dragons. Not YA, mine is adult, and I had not heard of this book before I wrote it, but I thought that could be a fun thing to take a look at. Obviously, I love that more of these nerdy rom-coms are coming out. out. There's a few others that I've pre-ordered and have my eye on. The idea is that people who have liked these kinds of books will like my books as well. And if you don't already know, my book, You've Got Chainmail, is out on the 15th of August, so 2 weeks from filming this video. If you haven't pre-ordered it yet, links are in the description as always. Super excited to share this with you. This is also a rom-com about a couple people that play D&D together. They go to a big Ren fair together. A little bit of a fantasy twist, but definitely a contemporary rom-com. I'm really excited for you to meet Morgan and Jack and their cast of funny friends. So yeah, some nice nerdy rom-coms for the month of August. A couple of others that have been on my TBR for a while that I'd like to get to. The Galaxy and the Ground Within. This is my last Becky Chambers book that I have yet to read, and I really want to read it, but again, it just keeps getting put behind all these other books. As well as A Study in Drowning by Ava Reid. I now have a friend who has read it who is desperate for me to also read it so that we can talk about it, so it has maybe even bumped up the list a little bit from where it was. Then I've also got a couple of books that I got for my birthday yesterday that I'm super excited to read. The first one was an absolutely great choice from my husband, and that is Emily Wilde's Map of the Otherlands, which is the second book in the Emily Wilde series. I haven't read this one yet, but I was so obsessed with the first one, and I just had to return the second one to the library without having read it because it was due back and it had holds, so I couldn't renew it. So the fact that he got this for me was like perfect timing. I will definitely get to this one. I will make time for this one, even if it means not getting to a library book, because I'm desperate to read this book. And then the other book that I got for my birthday is The Man Who Planted Trees by Giono, and it's a very short book, but it's from a couple of my friends, one of whom is not much of a reader, but she says that this is her favorite book. And I think when a reader calls something their favorite book, there's something really special about that. So I'm super excited to read this. It is a short one, and so it shouldn't take me too long to get through. And then finally, I have got 2 books on my TBR that will be rereads, but I think these are books that are overdue a reread for me. I don't do a lot of rereading. I've never been a huge rereader, but I have a few books that I used to reread fairly often. I used to reread The Hobbit all the time. I used to reread Wuthering Heights all the time, and both of those are due a reread, but that's not what I'm going to show you today. I've got 2 other books that I haven't reread in a while, one of which I've reread once before and I want to reread again. The other one will be the first reread for me. The one I've reread before is The Shapeless Unease, My Year in Search of Sleep by Samantha Harvey. I'm not a memoir girly, but this memoir is phenomenal. It portrays the creative process and anxiety and existential angst and all of that in a way unlike any I've ever seen before, and it's just so good. It's also very short, so it's easy to get through, but the first time I read this book, I put a reminder in my phone to reread it every year, and I didn't get to it this year yet. So, and then the other one, which I've only ever read once, is The Lightness by Emily Temple, and this is a new copy of this book. I let myself buy it because my previous copy that I loved, I much preferred the cover of the other one, got borrowed and then never returned, so I let myself buy myself a new copy, and it's come in, and now I want to reread it. So if you were doing the math, I am currently reading 3 books, and I've got 20 other books on my TBR. There's no chance I will read 23 books during the month of August. I have never read that many books in a month in my life, and I am on deadline at the moment, so it's not going to happen now. These are always meant to be not prescriptive, but rather just like a menu that I can choose from. But when it comes to this library list, I've got my work cut out for me. So again, if you want to see that reading vlog, make sure that you're subscribed because it's going to be interesting. I need to go film the intro for that. So give this video a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments what I should be reading for the next month. And thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.